Greetings and welcome to my 7.25 Relic guide for Final Fantasy XIV. This time featuring the beautiful item level 745 Penumbrae stage of the Dawntrail Phantom weapon. As I will mostly focus on the best and most efficient way to receive your Relic weapon, I'm going to avoid most of the Occult Crescent content, which of course is connected to it, but at this stage you can kinda ignore it entirely. But more to that later. However, to get started we need to talk to the Expedition Messenger in Tuliolal just to be introduced to Eureka 7.0 Isle and all the things connected to it. And after a couple of cutscenes and a brief check this spot and talk to this NPC thing, you will have unlocked Phantom Village. That is our main hub for all things Relic weapons, at least for this stage. Above that, Phantom Village will contain the entrance NPC for the Occult Crescent. Once left, this place can be re-entered by clicking on the passage to Phantom Village again on the Tuliolal Pier. Alright, the next step is to start the quest Arcane Artistry, in which you're going to meet another very familiar friend of ours, Gerald. That will help us again to forge our Dawntrail Relic weapons. After that is done, Gerald will demand us to collect Demiatma, 6 different ones from which you need 3 per category. This sounds a lot like Shadowbringers or Heavensward relics, right? Yes, you can farm those inside the Occult Crescent exploratory zone by completing fates or critical encounters, or, you guessed it right, from fates all over Tural, where each specific Demiatma is connected to one zone. So if by any chance you still need to level up an old job, now is the time, as fate parties are really active at the moment and leveling with people grinding down fates is hella fast. Furthermore, you can make tons of skill with the bicolor gemstones you will pick up in the process, which can be sold for Turali gem vouchers that are going for 120k on my server Shiva. And you only need 100 bicolor gemstones for 1 voucher. Oh, did I mention that this step is just a one-time completion? This is exactly why fates are the way to go, if the relic weapon is your top priority, and Arcanoid gear and the Occult Crescent just on the second spot. Because even though the drop rate is not bad from fates and critical encounters in OC, you will certainly meet the point of overcapping on specific Demiatmas, and every Atma above 3 is wasted, as the follow-up step will require Tomestones for each weapon besides your first one. So my tip here. Just go into Occult Crescent and participate in as many fates and critical encounters as possible to receive a wide variety of Demiatmas. Until you got 3 on one specific color, which is the time you should swap over to fates to hunt down the color specifically. But of course, if you need some gil or jobs leveled up, go for fates from the start of it instead. For Occult Crescent I highly recommend playing a tank, warrior in the best case, as it will increase your chance of surviving in critical encounters significantly. Sometimes I could easily take 7 or 8 vulnerability stacks and still keep on going with all the massive self-healing the warrior provides, where monk being a solid phantom job combination that makes the rotation a bit more spicy, as you need to uphold a quite powerful damage buff with phantom kick. And whatever method you choose, drop rate is horrible and this step can take quite a while, but as it needs to be done just once, enjoy the fact that we're able to grind this in the game again and don't get our relic weapons for free. Especially as the follow-up step still can be seen as a Mandeville part of phantom weapons, and Square really managed to combine all the previous ways of earning your relic in earlier expansions into one big mix, and Occult Crescent also granting us access to armor sets that are actually useful if you haven't collected the whole Savage gear yet, but even then, they are a massive boost to your power level inside of Occult Crescent that will continue our relic journey with further stages. And as I remember from Stormblood, it was a real bummer if you didn't have Eureka on the recent stage with your character being leveled and geared up for its challenges. So I highly recommend to participate in the Occult Crescent content now, as long as many others are there to join you. Alright, so to the last part. This mainly consists of farming Tomestones of Heliometry, 1500 per weapon. Starting with your first by collecting 3 Arcanites with a cost of 500 tomes each, which can be received from all sorts of endgame content, as well as going into duty roulettes with a high level character, where the EXP are replaced with Heliometry Tomestones. The best way of course to grind those down are A rank trains. You can easily get 1 relic for a whole train run in the morning or evening hours. Definitely check out the Centurio Discord to learn where trains are starting on your data center. As no trains were in sight when I finished my first relic for my warrior, I ran Expert and Level Cap Dungeon. The high level dungeon duty roulette also works nicely, as with a good group you blast through lower level dungeons in no time, as most jobs are really overpowered there. On the other hand, each critical encounter also rewards you with 20 Tomestones of Heliometry, so I highly recommend just grinding these down inside of Occult Crescent once you completed the first stage, because you know, 2 birds with 1 stone. Or simply play PvP, if that is something you like. Matches grant Heliometry tomes even if you lose. And besides that, there's not too much to be said about this step. You could even put 1 wrist tales in the mix if you're lucky with 2 lines and can get a solid 500 tomes in the process. But that's also 100k MGP as well, so maybe you should prefer those for the 2 lines instead. Okay, after you've collected those 3 Arcanites, just talk to Gerald and he will craft you your first stage Phantom weapon. Afterwards, all consecutive weapons for other jobs can be received from the Lala standing next to him. And that's it already. The first stage can easily take half a day or longer, but like I said, it is a one-time completion and you don't have to do it ever again. So enjoy your relic grind and your weapon, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep loving Final Fantasy.